Hi, I'm Alanya and I'm a former Teach for America teacher. I taught in Greater Tulsa from 2017 to 2019, and I used to teach special education, middle school math, so I taught 6th to 8th graders during the 2 years. Now I'm a 7th grade teacher in Dallas, Texas, and I'm going into my 4th year of teaching this school year. I know it's a crazy time to be entering the education field or to be a teacher in general, given coronavirus and having to be adaptable to online learning or teaching in the classroom with all the safety precautions that are necessary to prevent the spread of COVID. But I do want to congratulate you for getting accepted to Teach for America, because it's not an easy feat. I believe the acceptance rate is around like 15%. So kudos to you for your hard work. To those who are trying to decide as to whether Teach for America is the right option for them, it's not going to be for everyone. In my core year, in the 2017 Tulsa core, I believe around 20 people dropped over the course of the 2 years. It's definitely a big decision to move from one side of the country to another or just start a whole new career. But if you're really passionate about teaching and working with kids, I think that this is the right job for you. And it is going to be a bumpy road, but your passion is what's gonna get you to the other side. And the reward of the relationships with students and families, being able to see how kids grow up and change, I think is just something that's so magical. My first piece of advice to new Teach for America teachers is to remember to take care of yourself and your mental health. TFA might say self-care, do what you need to do, but there is this kind of culture of sacrifice for students, and it's almost like a competition of like who's given up more sleep, who's given up more of their personal life to be more involved in the school, the community. And I think that this hardworking, sacrificial competition ultimately chips away at people's mental health and mental well-being, because they feel like they have to keep up and they really just end up burning out. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. It's about making it through the school year. It's about making it every day and showing up as your best self. And so you need to be fulfilled and you need to be happy to be able to give students your best, explore new hobbies or new passions. If you're good to yourself, it's a ripple effect to your students. For me, I know that the post-grad blues was a really big part of my first year. For anyone who's going into Teach for America straight out of college, whether you're 21 or 23, I would say don't underestimate that the post-grad blues can definitely still have an effect on you. Even if you have this new career and you have new friends and just moved to a new place. Also, I am from Chicago, so coming from Chicago to Tulsa was a big shock for me in terms of lifestyle and even like a culture shock. And for those of you moving from a big city to a smaller city, especially if you're a person of color and the community that you're going to doesn't have as many people of color, that was something that I struggled with. On top of the first year of teaching being stressful for anyone just because it's an adjustment, the schools that Teach for America teachers are placed in also tend to be difficult, that need more structure, need more support, need more resources. So keep that in mind. It's a lot on your plate, it's a lot on your shoulders, you know, to have to deal with understanding what working for your school district is like and the responsibilities that are coming from Teach for America. So be gentle on yourself because it's so difficult. Also, with learning how to be a teacher in a short period of time, that 5-week summer training is definitely not adequate to prepare you for teaching for 6 to 7 hours a day, 5 days a week, and then having to go to additional trainings or classes on top of that. It's just a lot. You know, you have a full-time job and you're also taking classes. If you're feeling a lot of stress and pressure, do things that make you happy and don't just put that on the back burner because you're feeling stressed. Like, don't neglect yourself because you're having a hard time. Something that I felt like I needed to hear was that most people around you are probably struggling, even if they're not talking about it. I don't know if they were afraid of talking about it or they just didn't want to seem like they were complaining or get a negative reputation for complaining, but I feel like a lot of people didn't talk talk about how hard it was. The culture of everyone seeming like they have it together and are okay and are thriving and doing well is so unhealthy and so not conducive to growing into this new role and responsibility or this new chapter of your life. I feel like not speaking up just makes people feel worse about their experiences because they further feel isolated and alone. And the competitive environment that TFA is, because of all the talent and because of the competitiveness of the program, contributes to people feeling like they're not enough. They're, struggling maybe for the first time in their lives, because up until that point, you might have received accolades or awards or praise for all the times that you put in a lot of effort. But with teaching, sometimes you can put in all the effort and all the time, but still not feel like you're getting better or improving. And I think that's what was really frustrating for me, was that I felt like I put in all this time and I was trying so hard, and I don't think that you're as recognized and rewarded as a teacher. So that might be an adjustment for you or for some of the people around you. Your abilities as a first-year teacher do not equate to your self-worth and to your value as a person. I think that a lot of us, because we were so high achieving and we wanted to do well, started to feel bad about ourselves as people because we feel like we weren't being successful as teachers. That just made us disappointed in ourselves, and dealing with that on top of all the other pressures and stresses was just too much. I know that a lot of Teach for America teachers end up seeking therapy or needing counseling because of how hard it really is, and just all the things that are put on our plate given the profile of a Teach for America teacher and the environment that we're placed in. I do think it's possible to adapt and to thrive. Becoming a teacher was one of the best decisions I made for myself, but I do want to acknowledge that the first 2 years of teaching with Teach for America were difficult. Seek outside perspectives on your struggles and to just build a friend network outside of Teach for America. So I know that a lot of people from Teach for America are transplants to the city that they're working in, and so it's easy to relate to other young, diverse people, but I would push you to find friends and meet people in the community that you're living in, that you're working in, and to befriend them as an escape from the Teach for America bubble, from the teaching bubble. Like, to make friends outside of teaching. I think that it's just healthier when you can not talk about teaching. As much as in my first year, I felt like all I did was talk about teaching. And it was definitely nice to have people who understood the struggles and to not feel like I had to explain everything or to justify why I was still working my job. But the TFA bubble definitely normalizes experiences that aren't normal or shouldn't be normal. When you stick within the TFA bubble, it kind of seems like people build an us versus them mentality, like the TFA teachers at the school versus all the other teachers. And that's not the best way to really make the most of your time in that community and your time as a new teacher. Take this time, take these 2 years, especially since you're away from your friends and your family, to really build on yourself and become the person that you always wanted to be without the influence of those who grew up knowing you and what they wanted for you. Thank you so much for watching, and if you would like to see more of my teaching videos, I'll link them in the description box. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new to my channel, and see you in the next video.